Hey everybody, I hope you guys are all having a good day. Up here in Vancouver today is sunny now. Before there was smoke clouds because of all the arson going on, not climate change, all the arson going on in California, Oregon, and in Washington State just south of us. But it looks like the smoke is cleared, thank God. And we got a nice sunny day here. So today we're going to be talking about what this member of parliament in the United Kingdom stated regarding COVID-19 vaccinations. I'll play that video in a second. We'll talk about it. And this is something that most of us have realized was coming, and we're pretty much just waiting for it. This is the calm before the storm. And this is no surprise to me and any other people who understand the big picture here. The naysayers are always the naysayers. They will be the naysayers until the end, and that's completely fine. They can't say they haven't been warned, that's for sure. Okay, so here, no jab, no movement. UK Member of Parliament pushes mandatory COVID-19 vaccination for travel. Suggests Army should oversee the rollout. Now, I found that kind of interesting because that's exactly what Trump said, and that's why I do have my reservations about Trump. He said he's going to roll out the vaccine in Operation Warp Speed that's going to be delivered to the American population before the election, which is November the 3rd. We're on what the hell day is it today? The 29th or the 30th today? The 30th. So within a little over a month, he's telling us that he's going to have everybody vaccinated. I find that hard to believe, and I find that very odd that he's going to bring out the military, and I find it even more odd that this member of parliament is actually suggesting the same thing, that the military should be used to roll out this COVID-19 vaccine. Now before we get into the whole thing here, let's not forget that the survival rate for this flu is over 99%. And even if you're scared about COVID and you realize this is a flu, do you realize that these vaccines are usually the regular the regular influenza vaccine is between 30 to 50 or 30 to 60% effective. So even if this was a real pandemic, and even if everyone took this worldwide, the effective rate of it would be between 30 and 60%. So there you go on that. That's if you believe any of this stuff. Obviously, I do not. So let's just read part of this and I'll play you the video. So it says here, a British Conservative MP has urged the government to draft in the armed forces for the rollout of a mass coronavirus vaccination program, which would include mandatory certificates that allow people to travel internationally. I've discussed this before and people just think I'm off my rocker. Here it is, and we'll talk about the video in a sec. Once again, you're not going to be able to travel unless you get this certificate of vaccination proving you've been vaccinated from COVID-19 that has a survival rate of over 99%. Why are we getting a vaccine for something that has a survival rate of 99%? They've never done this in the past, but in 2020, the government cares so much about us that they're doing everything in their power to help us because they love us so much, right? They love us so much. Sure, keep drinking the Kool-Aid. What does it say here? It says the vaccine could be 6 months away and urged Prime Minister Boris Johnson to use the armed forces to oversee the process of delivering it to the UK population. Here's the video, we'll play that in a sec. Max vaccine rollout is enormous responsibility and we need to get it right. You gotta wonder who's paying Tobias Ellwood to push this propaganda into the House of Commons in the United Kingdom. You gotta wonder, because these guys just really, most of the time, if you've seen UK Parliament, the House of Commons, or whatever they call it, these people are just, they're perverts, they're pedophiles, they like getting drunk, they're just basically pathetic scumbags. So if they're actually proposing anything, chances are they're being paid to roll that out, and they're either actually being played or blackmailed. Being paid or being blackmailed. I stress there is a huge scope for this to go wrong if we do not start a plan now. So they're going to use the Ministry of Defense and the Army to set up regional distribution hubs, as well as to develop a national database to track progress and issue the vaccination certificate. So just like in Germany with the Jews, you're going to have your little, now you need a piece of paper to enable you to travel internationally. So if they're doing this in the United Kingdom, obviously that means every country on earth is going to follow suit. They've already talked about this in the Australian Parliament. This will be coming to Canada. That's part of the plan here as well. In order to be able to travel internationally, you will need a vaccination certificate. Once again, not a conspiracy theory. You're going to see it for yourselves. Even if you don't believe me, I really don't give a shit, because you're going to see it for yourselves with your own two eyes in due time. And due time is not like years from now. It's probably months at the very most. Okay, so it's coming down the pipeline, and it is going to happen because this is all a planned agenda from many years ago. If you don't believe me, I don't care. So what else is here? So this is, I believe the biggest challenge will be in managing the transition period, potentially up to a year, when parts of our society have been liberated from the threat of COVID-19. So now you're going to be completely liberated from COVID-19 if you get a vaccine. But realistically, like I said before, there's a 30 to 60% effectiveness rate for the influenza every year. Most people should realize that. Not everybody does. So once again, these MPs are total just scumbag garbage pushers. You're not going to be liberated from the threat of COVID-19. Even if you believed in COVID-19, you should realize it's not completely effective 100%. And this will seek to return normality. That's why they're doing everything right now. They're keeping things locked down. They've got, restaurants half full, the church is 50 people, bars are closed at 10 p.m., nightclubs are completely closed. It's because they're keeping us in a stranglehold until this vaccine is rolled out into the general population. Then they're going to say, hey guys, guess what? The vaccine's available. Take the shot and we can get on with our lives. Meanwhile, you don't know what's in the shot, and some of the vaccine companies that I read about, like Moderna, which is it's an abbreviation. MOD stands for modify, and then RNA is your DNA. So basically, it's modifying your DNA, and that's exactly what this vaccine is designed to do. It's gonna modify your DNA, and you can look that up if you want. If you don't, then that's fine as well. What does it say here? Those who have yet to be vaccinated are still subject to social distancing rules. So if you're not vaccinated, you're going to be subject to social distancing rules. But I'd like to add to that, but you obviously cannot fly. You will not be able to go into grocery stores. Maybe you will, but you'll have to wear a mask forever. Who knows? So now it's gonna come to the point where we're not gonna have any kind of daily life until we get a vaccine. And remember, safe vaccines usually take up to 9 years, and they've rolled this out in roughly a year, maybe 2 years max. How safe is that? Who would be stupid enough to take this? I'm telling you, all those conspiracy theorists, they're going to be vindicated then. It's not like I want to be, because that means my family and friends are all at a great risk, because this whole New World Order was actually a real threat to humanity, and it is a real threat to humanity because it's actually real. That's the thing. Some people have a tough time understanding this is real. You're going to see it for yourself, and you'll remember the words that I stated, all the videos I've done, all the videos that other people have done, because this is a real plan. It's not something I pulled out of my ass. I don't research this stuff for 10 minutes and then I make a video on it. I've been researching this shit for years and years, hundreds of hours of research, reading all different types of articles. Like many people watching my videos have done the exact same thing as me. Okay? Anyways, let's play that video. I went directly to his page here. Let me just pause this for a second. So this is the Twitter account of Tobias Ellwood MP, the guy who has proposed this. He's preparing for a national, in brackets, voluntary vaccine. It's voluntary, but guess what? How are you going to be able to get it on a plane unless you have that vaccination certificate? You're not. So let's just listen to this piece of garbage. Okay, we're going to listen to the sellout in a second, but please understand, just because this is coming from the United Kingdom, this same thing was proposed also in Australia. They have no jab, no pay from the health minister there. I can probably find it here real quick. Once again, let's see here, no jab, no jab, no pay, AU. Australia, let's see this. So let's see this. This is from the Globe and Mail, Canadian news. No jab, no pay in Australia. No excuses accepted for unvaccinated kids. What does it say? Come on, buddy. Let me see this. I don't want to create a free account. Okay, screw you. 1 second. So here's an Australian newspaper. No jab, no job is actually the phrase. Businesses call for right to sack workers, meaning they're going to fire workers who refuse COVID-19 vaccine. How interesting is that? So basically, if you don't want to take the vaccine, your employer can fire you. So you still think you live in a free country? You still think that all this stuff is just a bunch of BS? Like, seriously, let's play this and then we'll play the other one. Come on. It doesn't seem to be loading, but basically it states here, small business groups are calling for the right to sack workers who refuse to get a COVID-19 vaccine when one becomes available in Australia. The federal government has announced on Wednesday it has signed a letter of intent with British drug company AstraZeneca, which is working with Oxford University and promising a coronavirus vaccine trial that could be rolled out early next year. So under the deal, Australia would make and supply the vaccine provided free to Australians. Free. How is it free when your taxpayers are paying for it? Not free. But authorities say 95% of the population would need to be vaccinated for a national immunization program to be effective. If one of my staff members says, no, I'm against it, then I'm going to have to say, I'm sorry, you are a threat to my business. Council CEO Peter Strong told 7 News. If you don't sack them, you don't have a business, especially if you're in high contact area where you've got a lot of customers. The jab won't be mandatory, however, Health Minister Greg Hunt told Sunrise that the government have absolutely kept on the table concepts such as no jab, no pay, no jab, no play. Prime Minister Scott Morrison also said he was open to all options. It's not discrimination, but you can lose your job if you don't get a vaccine that's been rolled out within under 2 years, when usually a vaccine takes 9 years to be rolled out. But it's not discrimination. And they want 95% of the population to take this, and they've never cared about anybody ever before, but now they care so much about us because their government is always there to protect their citizens, right? Sure. Okay, let's play this.
The scale and complexity of this challenge is up there with the D-Day landings and indeed Dunkirk. And to put it politely, Madam Deputy Speaker, we must learn the lessons of the PPE rollout, testing, track and trace. Mass vaccine rollout is an enormous responsibility and we need to get it right. Planning must start immediately, and I have written to the Prime Minister recommending that he consider calling on the Ministry of Defence to establish a small task force led by a senior, empowered voice of authority to begin the planning and design of a draft blueprint. The armed forces have the capacity, the logistical experience and the national reach, and are not overburdened by any current duties involving tackling COVID-19 to take on this mammoth and incredible task. And when you pause to consider what is involved, the logistics of shifting millions of refrigerated vaccines across the country, the creation of regional distribution hubs which then feed into mobile testing centres, developing a national database to track progress and issue the vaccination certificates, which they themselves will probably have to be internationally recognised in order to allow travel, international travel.
See what he said there? So basically, you got to get a certificate in order to travel internationally. Very interesting, and I'm pretty sure I saw that with the BC Restart plan, that vaccines would have to be part of it before they allow travel internationally. I'll show you that after this. All this stuff is real. Not conspiracy theory, it's not garbage. It's real information from just people like me who are actually paying attention. Okay, let's play this.
As well as establishing the order of who is prioritised first. Key workers, the vulnerable, teachers for example.
Teachers, for example, so the vulnerable, frontline workers and teachers, for example. So if anybody is a teacher, do you want to be forced into taking a vaccine? Don't you think it's your right? No, you don't have to take the vaccine, but now you got to wear a mask forever. Like, you got to wonder where they're going with this, and we'll see if this comes to Canada. Logically, I'm pretty sure it will come to Canada. This is not something that's just going to be in select countries. This is going to be a worldwide effort to vaccinate everybody. As we've already discussed in other videos, we all know this information, and now it's just coming out. It's being pushed out into the general public via members of parliament, via the health minister in Australia, and it'll come to Canada probably sooner than later, right? It's all going to happen. This is all coming. We're just seeing things a little bit into the future, not too far into the future, but it will happen here. So, do you want to take this vaccine? Hopefully you don't take it. There's no point. Why would you want to take a vaccine for COVID-19 that has a survival rate of over 99%? It doesn't make any sense. And the vaccine that they're most likely going to use, if it's coming from Moderna, it's going to change your DNA. Look into that. Once again, it's up to you if you want to believe what I tell you, but I'm just putting the information out here as I see it. Let's finish.
And then with more detailed questions about potentially the use of schools to vaccinate the children. All these must be answered and indeed planned for.
So of course they want to vaccinate the children. Are you willing to vaccinate your children? Because if you're not, guess what? You probably can't go back to school, or maybe you're going to have to wear a mask forever. Who knows what these people have in store for us? You don't know what they have up their sleeve, because I'm telling you right now, this is all a long planned agenda. And I'm not taking the vaccine. My kids will not take the vaccine. Once again, even if you don't believe in conspiracy theories, are you willing to risk your kids' health for a virus that has over a 99% survival rate? How many kids have died from this COVID-19? Look at the statistics. Look at the statistics. It's a fucking joke. But they want to push us onto the whole population of the world. What is it, 7 billion people? You got to ask yourselves, why are they doing that? I don't know. You figure it out. You figure it out. I've already figured it out, and I've said my piece on this topic many times. A lot of people, they don't want to listen to it. They think I'm a crackpot. Completely fine. In the end, you will see that all the people trying to warn you were correct. Don't want to be right about this. Who the hell wants to be right about such a disgusting topic as the one I've been posting videos on since March, and actually before that a little bit. Mostly since March, since this whole thing came into our lives. We're going to see what's happening. We're all in this shitstorm together, unfortunately, and we're going to see who's right and who's wrong. I don't want to be right, but I know I am, because this is a long-term plan. It's been planned years and years ago, and it's just getting rolled out now. Let's continue.
Now, with the coordination of Whitehall departments, local authorities, the private sector, policing and security, as well as the military support to consider, I hope I make the case for why we need to start thinking about this now.
So there you have it. I'll put a link to that so you can see it for yourself. But there it is for you. You know, it's it's coming down the pipeline. And then Trump, we're going to bring the military to inject all of the population of the United States of America, and he's saying this is going to happen actually before the election. I wouldn't take that vaccine. I really have to question Trump, and really have to question whose side he's on when he starts talking about using the military to with Operation Warp Speed in order to vaccinate 330 million people. But he says it's not mandatory. I don't care if it's not mandatory. You don't need to push this garbage out. But that's a whole different topic, and that's why I really don't put all my faith in Trump or any other politician for that matter. The only person I put my faith in is myself at this point. Anyways, guys, that's about it. I just wanted to let's talk about. Let me just find that other document with a BC restart plan. Let me just find that for you. Okay, so here's a BC restart plan, last updated June 24th. This is phase 4. I don't even know what phase we're in, but let's read this together. I've done this in another video. Entering phase 4 is conditional. So in phase 4, people can gather in large groups, and international tourists will be welcome to BC. So we haven't reached phase 4 yet because we all have to get vaccinated. So without vaccinations, international tourists will not be welcome to British Columbia. So entering phase 4 and conditional on at least one of the 3 factors being met: wide vaccination, community immunity, and broad successful treatments. When at least one of the three factors is met, activities and venues that require large gatherings can operate. This include conventions, large professional sports, concerts, and international tourism. Bing, 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 bing. Meaning we have to get vaccinated before we can travel. And then everyone else across the world has to get vaccinated before international tourists will be allowed into Canada. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is coming directly, as you can see here, from the government of British Columbia. If you look on the bottom left, you can see the link is gov.bc.ca, meaning it is an official government website, my friends. Meaning the same plan will roll out here. It hasn't. Dr. Bonnie Henry has not come on television and stated that we will need a certificate in order to fly. But mark my words, we will. Of course we will. It's so easy to see this plan. It's just common sense that this will be part of the plan worldwide, not just in the UK, not just in Australia, not just in Canada, but worldwide. Every single country on planet Earth will have to acquiesce and follow these guidelines because these have been implemented by the WHO, World Health Organization, Bill Gates and all his cronies, Tedros, the head of the WHO, and so forth. Not a conspiracy theory. You're going to see it happen. Guaranteed. I'll promise you it's going to happen. Of course it has to happen. You can see the writing on the wall. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Hit the like button, hit subscribe, share this video all over social media. As you see, they're moving forward with their plan. Right now, they've got us in a stranglehold, and that's why they're making us wear masks, mandatory masks everywhere, because they want you to feel the pressure. They don't want anything returning to normal until you get the vaccine. This is why they're doing all this stuff. They want you to get that vaccine. Problem being, from what I've seen, from Global News, when I read their comments on Facebook, CTV News, City News 1130, and CNN, the comments tell me most people will not take the vaccine. So you got to wonder what they're going to do when the general population says, no, we're not going to get that vaccine, F you. Well, they're going to try to enforce it by basically stating you can't be a teacher unless you get the vaccine, you can't be a healthcare worker unless you get the vaccine, if you work with children, you can't get the vaccine, and so forth and so forth. So my prediction is this: I think there's going to be a massive pushback from a lot more people than there are now once those vaccines become voluntary. But really, they're not voluntary. They're going to be a form of mandatory, because they're going to keep a stranglehold on your life unless you get vaccinated. That's the plan. That is the plan. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. All the best to you, my friends. Stay strong and stay smart. You don't have to stay safe. There's nothing to stay safe from.